We sometimes think of the Torah as a law code, but in fact the Torah is broader than that. If we read it with care, we'll notice that there is a constant interweaving of law and ethical principles, and there's a very good example of that in this week's Torah portion. We find in the Torah portion, Moses said to them, "If you do this, if you go to battle as shock troops at the instance of the Lord, and every shock fighter among you crosses the Jordan, you shall be clean before the Lord and before Israel." This idea of being clean is something that is picked up by the later tradition and turned into a principle demanding that we behave in a holy way. So, for example, in the Talmud, we find the rule that when charity overseers have no poor to distribute their funds to, then they must change the copper coins with others. You can't keep the money in the pushka in case people think that you took it for yourself. And there are other examples right up to today where this principle of living clean, living a holy and blessed life can be found. Another example is a recent teshuvah, a legal ruling, by the Committee of Jewish Law and Standards determining the question of whether it is appropriate for violent or defamatory video games to be played by our youth. And I'm going to read from the final paragraph of that ruling. On an institutional level, it says, Jewish goals of character development require that violent or defamatory video games should not be allowed at the program of any conservative or Masorti movement affiliated institution. In these days of free choice, we might think that we should be allowed to do anything that we please, provided that we walk into it with open eyes. But our tradition teaches that we are held to a higher standard of holiness, and that we should be clean before God. That was your Torah in 2.